Yes, people, we are here on the 4 Ounce podcast. We have myself, the MMA Outlet, Serti MMA, and MMA Sidekick. And today, we are going to be giving you our champion predictions for who will hold the belt on January 1st, 2027. 2025, we had a lot of news. Belt changed hands many times, so it could prove difficult to call, but we'll give it our best shot.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to come to you, MMA Sidekick, and I'm going to ask you to start us off in the heavyweight division.
Okay.
See, with a big
the heavyweight division's quite a difficult one because obviously Tom's got his eye injury and stuff like that, going to need eye surgery. But I do believe Tom Aspinall will still be the champion. And I think we're going to get a completely different Tom Aspinall. I think we're going to get angry Tom Aspinall. I think he's going to absolutely obliterate. From the stuff he's been saying, if he comes back and his eyes are perfectly fine, he's going to obliterate Cyril Gane. Yeah. And all this talk about Alex Pereira, I don't think he'll want to play the game with Alex Pereira. I think he'll just take him down and he'll destroy him. I think we're going to get Tom Aspinall maybe 3.0. Should we say now? This will be his 3.0.
And over to you, Serti MMA.
I completely agree. I think Tom stays on top. Like he says, he seems pissed off now, and I think he comes back, beats Gane, and then possibly has another Alex Pereira maybe. And like you said before, he ain't gonna piss about. He's just gonna rugby tackle him, and I can't see it going any other way, to be honest. That for me,
then that means we've got a clean sweep because I also have Tom Aspinall to remain heavyweight champion of the world.
No bias at all.
As I say, boys, it is a difficult one to say, though, boys, because obviously he's got the complications at the moment that's been saying about his eye. Yeah. So we might actually get an interim heavyweight title, which might be Gane versus Volkov, which makes perfect sense. Volkov sort of you could have then Volkov wins that, and then you have Volkov versus Tom, and it becomes a different storyline. You know what I mean? But as I say, I believe we're all in agreement as well. Tom Aspinall.
I only think that he's going to get one fight in though this year, personally.
Yeah. Just Gane, do you think it's Gane? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd see that being July, August-y.
Yeah, it just all depends on that surgery, then it's the biggest unknown, I guess, like you say, on a Sidekick.
So then move on to the light heavyweight division, and I want to hear who you are picking first, Serti MMA.
I've struggled with 205 just a little bit, just because, again, it's another division where there's an unknown in that Alex may move up. If he doesn't, then my answer is Alex Pereira. But I think he's going to. So then it's, you've got the Yuri Olberg fight. Magomed's still there. You just really don't know how it's going to play out. But if it plays out as a vacant title at the end of the year, I think we see Magomed and Kalaev back on top of that division. I think he'll be a part of that fight. I'm not sure against who, but I think he'll be there and I think he wins.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I think Ankalaev will be the champion at the end of the year. I think Pereira will end up moving up. But even on the chance that he doesn't, I do think that Ank has the skill set to beat him.
Yeah, which we've seen.
Yeah, which we have seen before. So, I'm going to go for Ankalaev as the 205 champion.
So, boys, could we get a hat-trick? And I actually disagree with you, boys. Ooh. I think we will see a former champion become champion again, and I think it'll be Yuri Praska. And the reason being, I think the UFC do not want Ankalaev anywhere near this belt. Yeah,
I can't argue with that.
Dana wants him anyway. When he held the belt, was he interested? No, he brought no eyes to the sport. Yeah, I believe Alex Pereira will move up to heavyweight, like we've been talking, at maybe later the year. And if we do maybe get the Ankalaev fight, I think Yuri beats him. I think the only person that can beat Yuri is Alex Pereira. Yuri, the only person who actually has beat Yuri is Alex Pereira. So, as I say, I think for that reason, I think I'd actually go for Yuri on this one. I think he beats Ulberg. I think he beats Magomed, and yeah. So that's for that reason.
Toss up of the two for me.
It is.
I couldn't decide. Like I say, if there is a vacant fight, it'd most likely be them two. So, but going off who's the best, like you say, the sellability and stuff, they'll try and keep Mago away from it. But going off who's the best, I think Mago should be up there. But I like the shout completely.
But personally, I just believe that the UFC deep down don't want.
No, I can't disagree with that.
Belt.
Cannot disagree with that at all.
You know, last time he become a vacating belt, it ended up becoming a draw and basically left the division in a mess for a while. So
yeah.
Well, yes. So then moving on to the middleweight division, I'm going to stay in the Russian mountain regions. I still see Chimaev as the undisputed middleweight champion of the world by the end of this year.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sidekick?
Well, to be honest with you, I'd like to know what Sergey's thinking, but me personally, boys, I think we're talking 85% Khamzat Chimaev retains his health. Yeah. The rest of it, I'm seeing Fluffy Hernandez. Yeah. And the reason being, I see Imavov. Oh, is it what's his name? Imavov. Yeah. Maybe causing a little bit of damage to Khamzat. It depends on how that fight goes, boys. If Khamzat walks right through, that 85% goes straight to 100% that he's champion. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he can deal with the speed, you know, because he's fast. He's really very fast, Moslov. Imavov, yeah, right. I always get mixed up with the names, boys. It's difficult.
I don't give much chance to get Khamzat.
Right. But as I say, I think Fluffy has the chance at the end of the year maybe to get a worn-out Khamzat Chimaev. That's the only chance.
And as we're all in the drafts league, Fluffy Hernandez is my captain choice.
Yeah.
For that league, and I was unsure whether Chimaev's going to move up or not.
Again, there is that possibility.
I think Fluffy's going to have a great year this year.
Yeah. Well, it's tough when you get to the top of these divisions, right? Because obviously that's when you start handpicking your matchups a bit more. And someone like Fluffy's already fought a couple of guys up there. I believe. I know he fought Brendan not that long ago and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I agree. Going back to the main thing, I think Khamzat stays on top. With Imavov most likely being first, like Sidekick said, could do some damage, but I don't really think he does. To be fair,
I just think his speed is so good for the division. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel that's where the only problem for.
I'm probably being a little bit of a hater. To be fair, no, he is very good, Imavov. But then, like you say, with a drain thing, but it's just, do we see Khamzat a second time this year? You know,
the question.
But because is there any rumours of him fighting first half of the year?
Yeah, I'm hearing possibly Saudi Arabia headline in May.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, cool. But then they wouldn't be back there beyond October. So, yeah.
So it could. He
could, right? Yeah, I'm stalling a little bit. He could, but it's another big question, and it's so hard with these guys because you just really don't know. But I'm going Khamzat.
If you was to give a second person though, who would your second person be? It's got to be Fluffy, hasn't it?
It would, yeah. It would be Fluffy because that's probably who would be the front runner. I guess. I guess I did a little matchup of DDP and Brendan.
Yeah.
But if it was to be Brendan, Fluffy would probably pip him as he did beat him not that long ago. So I would say Fluffy, but Brendan Allen is someone I also think will have a good year.
Yeah. I like it.
Then moving down to the 170-pound division, MMA Sidekick.
Me, I've gone for Shavkat Rakhmonov. And the reason being, boys, I think he's been the rightful heir to that for a long time. It's just because of injuries that he hasn't had his shot to become that. And I think this year, he'll fight maybe earlier on this year. Later on in the year, he'll definitely get his title shot. because he'll become one of these fighters who becomes inevitable for it. You know, undefeated. Yeah, and I think he'll remind the world who he is when he comes back.
Like it. Who would you say he would fight?
See,
He said
it
that Morales fight's fucking nice to look
welterweight
at,
is
isn't
such a mess. That Morales fight breaks records. Yeah.
it?
It depends on who you're going off, Tapology or share dogs. It depends on who you're going off.
It's back to
Right?
normal now.
They've changed it back now, yeah.
I
It's
know,
back to
yeah,
normal.
it's a mess.
Well,
It's
one
a
of
mess.
them, I
That's
think, ended up
that's
at
how much of a
16,
mess the
isn't it?
division's in. Right.
One of
But
them took a couple off.
I would probably give him. I would like to see Jack Della Maddalena. I would like to see Michael Morales.
I've got different
Even
names.
Carlos Process.
I would not like to see that. Keep my
I'd
boy away
like to
from
see
Shavkat. Keep my boy away from
Shavkat Usman.
Do you know
Yeah,
what I was
yeah.
thinking that? But haven't they already fought? No.
No.
If they haven't already fought, yeah, book it because I think he smokes Usman.
That's the fact Kamaru needs to really be able to say it's me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if he's to get through Shavkat,
Yeah.
give him the title shot, but he does not deserve it right now.
No.
Yeah.
Then
Ian Gary deserves it over. But this is the thing: Ian Gary deserves it over all of them, even Shavkat, who Shavkat beat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but purely because of the inactivity, right? That's the
Activity-wise,
only
yeah.
thing. That's the only thing. Obviously he beat Ian, but based off the fact that we haven't seen him in such a long time,
Yeah.
I would give it to Ian. My pick for the champ at the end of the year is, and still, Islam Makhachev. Based off the fact that I think his first defense is Kamaru, which is a gimme in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't see Kamaru. Obviously, it'd be an interesting wrestling match. Marty's no mug in wrestling, but he's not Islam's level. But then Islam will probably be even bigger than he was against Jack, which he was already fucking massive. And I think he wins that one pretty easily. And then, like you say, we'll probably see him back end of the year, maybe in the Middle East, maybe back at MSG even. And then that'll be an Ian Gary maybe or Shavkat, whoever be up there. But it's hard to pick against the pound for pound number one. He's the best in the world for a reason, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to stay in Dagestan. I think Islam Makhachev is still the 170-pound champion of the world and still the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. Although I will say, I don't think Ian Gary is the most deserving right now. I believe that lies in the corner of Morales, personally.
It's hard to argue, like, because Ian, Morales, Shavkat are all kind of in that same hat.
And
I
then
personally would throw Prates in that hat, but I don't think most do.
it also gets difficult when you throw the name of Taporia in the mix as well, because Taporia doesn't deserve a shot.
It's even more messy when you throw the name like Kamaru in the mix.
Yeah,
that's the messiest of them all summer. Yeah.
I don't think
Ilya.
If Ilya moved up, I don't think Ilya would have the credentials to be able to beat him at that weight class. I think at lightweight, that's where it becomes interesting. But at welterweight, I think Islam's way too much. He's a big boy, isn't he?
And it is like a super fight that they could do for the Abu Dhabi pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know, but that we'll see what the UFC do. So that means we are going to the
that plays out.
£155 next. And is it Seti MMA to start?
I believe so. On the topic of Ilya Taporia, I believe he will be. Actually, no. Let me not say. I was going to say I believe he'll be overthrown. I don't. I think he maybe gives it up. Like we're just saying there, but whether that be to move up or whether that be just because he isn't fighting anytime soon, I'm not sure. I've gone for Paddy. I think Paddy wins in January. And then it'll either be the fight with Ilya, which I don't think it will be, which played into why I've picked Paddy, because I probably would pick Ilya in that fight. But then it could be like an R-man, and then again, that's just such a hard person to pick against. But I suppose I just had to back the boy on this one a little bit and went for Paddy for that reason. But it all bases on how it plays out. But the fact he's fighting in January, I'd like to think we see him again in the year at some point, but I just don't know who against. But he wins. Up him.
I agree with you, Serty. Yeah, I think Paddy will have a fight early on in the year, and then I think Ilia Topuria is winning this court case. Yeah, which I think we'll see him get in the cage a lot earlier. I've seen footage of him training, so which is good to see. This is a good sign to see. I thought he was putting all the fighting and training to a complete aside while he had this court case. No, he looking happy in coming out of court. So I'm thinking maybe things are coming quicker. Paddy gets the title in January. Title fight, maybe midway through the year. The winner of that has to fight the number one contender, boys, who's been sitting there. Maybe might have fought Max Holloway. Maybe might have fought Benoit Saint Denis while he's been waiting for it. Yeah, but I think all these grappling contests that he's been doing, fighting today as well. I think Arman Sarukian will be the title, will be the champion at the end of the year. I think even if it's Paddy, I think be able to out-grapple Paddy. And if it's Ilia Topuria, I think he'll also be able to out-grapple Ilia. And the people who he's hanging around with just indicates the fact that that's where his mindset has gone to.
Yeah.
He is all about the wrestling, taking them down, ground and pound, trying to threat for submissions. And, look what he done to Dan Hooker. No, I'm not saying Dan Hooker's at that level, but, he started implementing it. He's getting that ring rust off. Next year, I think the activity will come in. And, I think Arman Sarukian will be champion by the end of the year. I think he'll set up perfectly for the big, massive one in December.
Can't argue.
Okay, so that is the first division where we're going to have 3 different picks then.
Nice.
So I've gone, a little bit, I don't want to say rogue, but I have a feeling that we just don't see Ilia fight at 55 this year. And for that basis, I'm not picking Ilia. Otherwise, I absolutely would be. I have gone for someone that is booked to fight. And that is Max Holloway. I think Max TKO's Charles.
You just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I think Paddy beats Gaethje, and I think that sets up a Holloway Paddy title fight later down the year. And I don't think Arman gets his shot this year because the UFC just do not like the guy, clearly.
Yeah.
Did you see Dana's chat with Barstool? He did an interview with Barstool and he was saying how, he was asked if the headbutt had anything to do with it. And Dana said there's been so many things that's happened that is the reason why he's not in the title picture at the minute.
Because he absolutely
was not happy with him.
He should be, but for whatever reason, going on behind the scenes, I don't think they're going to give it to Arman.
Yeah.
I've gone for Max Holloway.
To be honest with you, outlets not mad at it because Max Holloway would have been my second pick, and I could actually see even Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria fighting, and Max being a weight that he hasn't gone up and then gone down like he did when he fought Ilia the first time. He's now in a weight class where he looks probably at his best. Yeah, where he probably looked so good against Justin Gaethje. I could see it maybe being a competitive fight, but Ilia everyone he hits, he just kills. So it's so hard to bet against Ilia. It really is.
And all of us Max isn't in the picture. If Ilia has the belt, Max isn't in the picture at all for me. That's
it just depends on how he does. He's fighting earlier on in the year. He's fighting earlier on in the year. If he gets another win in there, then the year sets up in December for a great fucking title fight.
And Seti don't agree that Max beats Charles either. I know that.
Well, yeah, there is that. There is also that. I don't mean to bring that up there a little bit, but it's my boy. But
this is interesting, though, boys. The next weight class.
I like the fact we're all different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll start us off in the 145-pound division. This was one of the toughest ones to pick.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because I think Volk beats Lopez again. There's rumours that this could be Volk's last fight. You know,
I
people
fully
are
believe.
unsure. There's rumours that Evloev and Murphy are going to be fighting. I think Evloev deserved the title shot. No, I didn't actually. I thought Murphy deserved it because of Evloev's inactivity. But Evloev is clearly one win away from being that guy. And for that reason, I've gone with Evloev. I think Evloev beats Murphy in London and then waits out a bit of the year and gets his deserved, if assuming he wins, title shot. So yeah, Movsar Evloev.
Nice. I disagree. How about
That's
that?
sad. It was difficult to pick.
Yeah. No, I've gone for Lerone. I guess once again, kind of just probably a smidge of backing the homeboy. Obviously the Lerone Movsar fight is there. I just think obviously I guess the exact same applies for Movsar, but it's just a style that can beat anyone. If Lerone can fight the way Lerone fights, he will beat anybody over 25 minutes, or he might find a wonder knockout now. Now we've seen that, but usually it'll be over 25 minutes or for 15 minutes. But I think he will maybe beat Movsar. Such a hard fight to pick. I'll be interested to see the odds for that fight. Maybe do give Movsar a slight edge, just because wrestling over the striking.
Probably be
Go on.
Probably be a pick-em.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And like you say, with the inactivity from Movsar, maybe that plays a part. But I think I think Lerone is the champion by the end of the year. But then he probably fights again. Or I don't know.
But if he's looking at March,
and it also depends on Volk Lopez, like you say, because is it as sure on? Obviously, Volk's last fight was literally beating Lopez, so it's hard to go against Volk. But he's a year older now. Lopez has had a fight since then, which he was pretty dominant in. He's also my draft captain. Shout out Diego Lopez, the boy. But I'm gonna go with Lerone.
Do you agree with either of his sidekick? Do you have a third name?
Use boys.
Another.
He was sort of getting to a little bit the reason why at the end of it there. I'm actually going with Lopez, boys. And the reason for it being boys is the UFC obviously don't want anyone else near this belt apart from Diego Lopez. They obviously love Diego Lopez that much. The fact that, okay, you like it. Volk's last fight was Diego Lopez, and we'll rebook it. Yeah, because we love this guy so much. With you were talking outlet before about Volk. It's possibly Volk's last fight. I fully believe it's Volk's last fight. They want to change the hands to Diego Lopez. I think Diego Lopez has got the potential to beat Volk. If he beats Volkanovski, I don't see Movsar beating him. Yeah, obviously he did the first time. Diego Lopez has got a lot better now. And I think he beats Lerone Murphy as well. So there's an outside shout for me, boys. If things do happen like this, if Volkanovski wins the belt, retires, do we then see Movsar, Evloev, and Lerone fighting in London for the belt? It's Possibly. Not a fucking. It's not a numbered belt. It's not a numbered card, is it? So we might not even see that belt happening.
But with the new Paramount deal, I think
we've got a fight happening in January, haven't we? With Gene Silver versus Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen is a fighter who could also creep up quietly, but the fighter I'm talking about is Gene Silver. May have a chance, an outside chance, to become champion at the end of the year. Literally a dark horse in a horse race on the backstretch. Here we go. Yeah, it's a possibility, boys. It is a great possibility. If he beats Arnold Allen, yeah, he could creep his way into a title shot at the end of the year.
What are you saying? 100%. Lopez Silva 2 in December.
I mean, you can't argue with it. What a fight it was like for what it lasted, anyway.
But I'm just saying, if Diego Lopez gets beat, then Volk retires there and then puts the belt down. I've retired. He knows he's retired. There we go. Then we've got a vacated belt between Murphy and Movsar. Yeah. Whoever wins that this is good. They've got who else could be fighting about the same time because he's fought at the start of the year, Gene Silver or Arnold Allen. Whoever won this is the quiet horse of the finger. They are the quiet horse of the race. So,
yeah.
And I think at the end of the year, it'll be, I think, Diego Lopez. But yeah, don't put your money against Gene Silver being champion, boys. Trust me.
Won't hear me arguing with you there, mate. You won't hear me arguing. I love it.
So that means we are moving on to the bantamweight division, and it is MMA Sidekick to start us off with your champion pick.
And for me, boys, you've only heard it once, and you'll hear it twice now and new. I'm going to go for Peter Yan. I think he's too skilled, he's too good, and I don't think he'll be as active as we all think. So I think maybe 2 fights this year, and I think he'll win both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, seem pretty sure. I don't hate it. I think, like you say, he maybe won't be very, very active this year. If Sean O'Malley is to beat Song Yadong, I think we see that fight made. I think Peter will ask for that fight. Wanting that loss back, which I believe was a fair loss. Don't know what you boys think. I believe Sean O'Malley won that fight.
I personally, what did Peter Yan versus Sean?
Sean,
watching it, I thought at the end of the fight, I thought that Yan won it. I haven't watched it back many times, so I can't talk on it. But
yeah, I've watched that fight back about 4 million times.
Yeah,
give or take 10, maybe. Just because I will die on this hill. I think Sean won that fight. Purely comes down to the first round, and I give it to Sean. I've watched it with commentary, without commentary. I even watched it in Spanish once, and I give it Sean O'Malley. So I think Sean maybe beats Peter Yan again, and then do we see Sean again? Yes, and I think it will be against Umar, who I believe beats Sean O'Malley. And I think Umar finishes the year as champion and then goes into next year, maybe wants to loss against Merab back, maybe.
Yeah.
But at the end of the year, I'll give it Umar.
You're talking perfect sense, because at the end of the day, Sugar is also fighting the same time as Umar. Yeah. It could actually set up a perfect title eliminator for one of them to even go out, and that could be Umar. Umar could then go forward into fighting Yan. I think Yan beats Umar, so that's how I'm seeing it, boys. Okay. You're talking perfectly in my sense, boys.
Yeah, it's just I'm on the other side of the fence in that final fight.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
I was in total agreement with Seti.
up until
you said about O'Malley fighting again. What I think happens is I think O'Malley beats Song Yadong. I then think that perfectly lines up a Yan O'Malley rematch on the White House card.
Yeah.
Which I think O'Malley wins, as I think he won the first one. And then I don't think we see O'Malley again this year. And I think we maybe see like a Merab fighting for the belt early next year. You know, give him a bit of time off. The UFC have said he's next.
Does Merab fight Umar at any point in this?
Huh?
Does Merab fight Umar at any point in this? Or is Umar not touching this belt at any point?
I think Umar will maybe fight in the January and then fight again in the October as like an eliminator, but sort of knowing that Merab's next anyway.
Well, Merab sits out until this point, or is it?
Unless Merab wants back in, then if he wants back in sooner than the title shot is available, then run the Umar rematch.
I like it.
And have that as the number one contender. But Merab absolutely does deserve to be fighting for the belt when he returns.
Can't argue that, for sure.
But yeah, my pick is Sean O'Malley. I think he wins in January. I think he beats Yan in the summertime. And then I don't think we see him again this year.
Nice.
So then let's see if we're in agreement or disagreement in the flyweight division. It's 30 MMA.
Me, yeah. Well, I already know you're different to me because you gave me a reaction that you seem pretty surprised with this one. And I've actually got it written down on my piece of paper in front of me. This was the hardest decision. So I'll take back what I said 2 weeks ago because this is the hardest decision. because I've just got a weird feeling, right? Well, obviously, going to Pantoja, there's like clips of him training and stuff. He's gonna be back sooner than people think. I've just got a weird feeling Van beats him, man. Like I was pretty sure in the first fight, Pantoja gets it done. Van's not gonna have what he needs on the ground. But for some reason, I just don't think that this time round. And I think Van possibly beats Pantoja. And then at the back end of the year, obviously we heard Dana talk about going to Japan. And I think Taira will be on the other end of that fight. And I think Tatsuro Taira will beat him. And I think he will finish the year as the champion.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I'm not mad at it. Tyler was my second pick.
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't
hard,
think
man. It's hard.
flyweight was all that difficult compared to the other ones, I'll be real.
Yeah.
I went to
Okay.
and new and former Pantoja.
Yeah.
I
Well, yeah, it's just this weird thing I've got going on in my head. If that weren't there, I probably would have picked Pantoja.
I was fully confident that Pantoja was going to beat Van on the night. We all saw how it played out, but there's been nothing that I've seen in that meantime which has made me change my mind in how confident I'm in Pantoja's abilities.
Yeah.
And I also think he will get another defence in the year. We've seen he's not needing surgery on his shoulder. Cheers, UFC. He don't need no elbow surgery. He's back to training. Going to be back sooner than we think. And yeah, I think he'll get it done and get another one in before the end of the year. So Alessandro Pantoja, champion by the end of the year.
Nice.
For me, boys, I'm a disagreement with all yous again,
Right.
which is what we like to hear. We like to hear different opinions.
Sure.
I don't think it's good, the fact that he's coming back maybe too soon at such an old age. Not good signs. You don't recover as quickly. I know he's small, but doesn't mean you recover quicker. You know, you're 30. What is he? 36, 37, something like that. And I think we could have a TJ Dillashaw sort of situation going on again, boys. You know,
With his shoulder,
the shoulder, his elbow, and stuff like that. My one is Manel Cape or Manel Cap, whichever one you want to call it. Absolutely obliterated Royval. I think if he gets his shot against Van, I think he'll beat Joshua Van. Move one was Tyler. I think Tyler's great. I think the Japan card sets up perfectly, but also sets up perfectly for Cape as well. You know, obviously fighting out of Horizon, they love him out there. So I say for me, boys, it will be Manel Cape. And he's been one of my favourite fighters for a long time. And we didn't get to see him properly when he fought in Manchester because he broke his foot straight away. And that wasn't the Manel Cape that we would have we wanted to see. So,
see, I'd need to throw another name into the mix because we've mentioned Ryzen, we've mentioned Japan.
Yeah,
I think Kyogi Horiguchi is probably right now top 3. Probably top 3 flyweights in the world right now. I'd need to do a bit of research, but I think that's fair to say.
Top 5.
Definitely in the top 5, 100%. So I think his name could be thrown in and around the mix as well.
Yeah. Maybe, but he's kind of only just got back. You know, that's the only thing. Obviously, definitely at least one more.
Yeah, well, he's fighting Perez.
Oh yeah, of course he is. Yeah, of course.
And then if he wins, that sets him up perfectly for a top 5 sort of title eliminator bout. And he's fighting early in the year, so you could definitely see him fighting 3 times in 2026.
Yeah.
So then with that, we are moving on to the women's divisions. So starting off in the women's bantamweight division, I'm going and still Kayla Harrison to remain on top of that division by the end of the year. I know she's got a tough fight coming up with Nunes. I think Kayla's size and Amanda being out of the cage for a while could definitely play a factor. I'm not too sure how that fight is going to go, but I do see Kayla being the champion at the end of the year.
it's hard to argue it. However, I'm going to, because I disagree. I agree with what you've just said there. I think Kayla does beat Amanda. The inactivity, Kayla's just an animal. I think Kayla wins. And well, obviously Josh Van now, but with her being the only on UFC record American champion, the UFC will do everything in their power to have her on that White House card.
Yeah.
In which I think she'll be maybe possibly a little bit drained. In which she'll meet, my girl, Norma Dumont, and I think Norma wins the belt on the White House card, crushing all Americans' dreams.
Well, I mean,
And
Norma, that
that'll
was
maybe
last fight. It was like,
yeah, it was rough. It was, but a fight before that. Let's talk about the fight before that instead, because that was better.
yeah,
Let's
you're
talk,
only as
let's
good as
talk
your
about
last
the good
performance,
stuff.
as they say.
No, the one before last, I think they say. So we'll go. we'll go off that. But I think Norma beats her, but not. Well, I obviously think Norma's great, but with the drained kind of two massive weight cuts in 6 months and all of that playing in. But I think they'll really want Kayla on that card, and Norma is who should fight her, and I think she'll get the better of her on that now.
Okay, boys, I'm liking everything you're saying, and I agree with you, Serty, but I see it being slightly different, though, brother.
Go on,
Yeah,
talk to me, Don.
and I'll tell you, this is how I see the pattern going. She beats Amanda Nunes. She then you're completely right. They need an American champion on that White House card. So we're gonna get you on the White House card. I don't know whether you follow much political stuff, boys, and what's going on in the world right now. Yeah, with America. Yeah. There's also a Venezuelan. Bantamweight who was a former champion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it actually makes a little bit of sense to be able to market it. Yeah. So we'll have Pena versus Harrison at the White House card.
Do we need to see that again?
Kayla Harrison will then place that belt down because she knows that she's become the greatest of all time. She's done what she wants to do. Yeah, she would have retired against Amanda Nunes if it wasn't for they need an American on the White House card.
Yeah.
And then pops up a title eliminator for the vacated belts. And the Monster's going to be the one who's going to be fighting for it because she's the rightful fighter to be fighting for it. It could be her against the Portuguese girl,
Cavalcanti.
Yeah, Cavalcanti, and I think she might edge it against Cavalcanti, and that's what I would like to see at the end of the year, something like that, boys.
I don't mind it. I don't hate it, but like Outlet mentioned there, I don't think it's a fight we need to see again. Kayla, Pena. Obviously, I love the idea of it and that. I think Pena Harrison. No, sorry, that's what I'm disagreeing with. I think Pena Nunes would make a lot more sense because obviously that's the trilogy that Pena's been screaming Amanda run away from.
Yeah.
But then that doesn't tie into the White House as much, obviously, with a Venezuelan.
And I say, boys, I'm just thinking political as well, boys. You know what I mean?
I do like that. Bring a bit of WWE into it.
The Americans would fucking thrive off it as well.
As long as Norma finishes out on top, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Moving on to the women's flyweight division, MMA sidekick.
I have gone with Natalia Silva. Is that how you pronounce the name? I think she's the next level of Shevchenko. She's got lightning quick kicks. Like, she's just so nice. I say Shevchenko might be a little bit too big and too strong for it, but I think it's time for Shevchenko to be moving on and dethroned.
That's
dirty MMA.
I completely agree. I think Natalia Silva finishes the year on top. Valentina kind of had a year of being doubted a little bit. She was the underdog against Manon. She was the underdog for most of the build-up with Weili. She won both of them. Obviously Weili a lot more dominant than the Manon fight. She clearly won the Manon fight in my opinion. But it was competitive. A lot more competitive than the Weili fight. I just think Natalia Silva's so good. I think she's built with Rose, right? I think she wins that fight pretty easily. And then they get a book for the title.
So how I see it going, I think Silva beats Rose.
Yeah.
I think Silva gets a title shot around the summertime. I think Valentina wins that fight and then puts the belt down. I think we see Valentina Shevchenko retire on top this year. I then think we will see Manon Fiorot versus the likes of an Alexa Grasso if she wins her upcoming fight, which I think is meant to be on Mexico card.
Or Erin Blanchfield or something.
Huh?
Or Blanchfield.
Yeah, or someone like that. Get.
You know what? Erin didn't even cross my mind.
They'd fight Manon for the vacant belt towards the back end of the year. I mean, if we're talking about vacant title fights on fight night cards, like Evloev Murphy on London, why not do a Fiorot on Paris for the vacant belt? And I think Fiorot will be the champion at the end of the year.
Great shout. Great shout. And like I say, she didn't do too badly against Valentina. She lost the fight, but
No, yeah, Valentina won, but it was a close fight.
You hold your own like that against one of the best. You can only give them respect, right?
And then I was really hyped on Jasmine Just the Biscus and what Manon did to her. Yeah, so moving on to the women's strawweight division, and we're going to start off with Dirty MMA.
At £115, obviously, we had Whaley vacate. Dern, I was against Dern for a little bit, to be fair, but then I had her winning that fight against Werner towards the back end of it, and then obviously for when it started. Tatiana, I believe, has just been scheduled.
Yeah.
For a fight, so I believe all fingers are now pointing towards Whaley probably just getting a straight shot again. In which I don't really give Dern much chance. I probably should give her more chance than I do, but I think at £115, it's next to impossible to go against Zhang Whaley. And if she gets another one towards the back end of the year, obviously there ain't been no talks of Whaley Dern, so whenever that may be. If she gets another one, she'll probably win that again. If it's to be Tatiana again or something, then. But I think Whaley finishes the year at the top.
Well, I disagree. How about that?
How about it? Tell me about it.
Nah, I'm only messing. Will be the champion at the end of the year. I think that it just makes sense to do Dan Whaley next. I know they was talking about giving Whaley a bit of time, and again talking about title fights on fight night cards.
Yeah,
they could do that in China in August if they wanted to wait that long. But hopefully we're seeing that fight booked sooner. And yeah, I just don't give Dan much of a say in the Whaley fight. I don't see anyone better than Whaley at £115.
And I fully agree with you, boys. And you just said everything that needs to be said. To be fair, I think the most dominant women's strawweight that we've ever seen. So I believe anyway. So yeah, you just said everything perfectly, boys.
So with that wraps up our championship predictions for the end of the year. What we're also going to do is we are all going to throw out a name, somebody unranked that we believe has the best chance to become the champion in their division. And we can pick from any division, and we're all just going to throw one name out there. So who wants to start us off?
I will start with the flyweight division, and I'll go with Dong Hu Choi. Just an absolute first round knockout machine, boys. And I hope he gets active next year. He wasn't too active last year. So I think he got on the road to the UFC last year. Got to the final, knocked him out in first round. So yeah, I think he's from Korea and very, very, very entertaining fighter.
Nice. So then I'm going to go to not the biggest of boys, but I'm going to go up in the divisions to the middleweight division, to someone who we are all very, very hyped on, and that is Atiba Gautier. Nice. For me, yeah, we've spoke about him before. he has the potential to go on and become a triple champion, and we don't just say that lightly.
No.
So yeah, for me, Atiba Gautier, most likely unranked fighter to become champion.
Wicked, yeah, cannot disagree with that. I'm a lot lighter than Atiba is. Well, not me personally, but my pick is a lot lighter than Atiba is. We are in the 45 division featherweight. I'm going for a tough winner in Myron Santos. But I seem to have some sort of affiliation to picking tough winners when it comes to these sorts of things, and just people who I decide to latch onto because
And the Brazilians.
and the fact he's a nerd maybe helps just a little bit. But it's a system that's proven to make so many champions, right? All these tough winners that go on to win belts. It's a proven system over the years, and I think Myron's going to be one of them statistics. I think he wins the belt with the right guidance, with the right fights. He can definitely hold that belt in the not so far future.
Yeah, right. So now, what we need you guys watching to do is comment below. Who do you think will be the champion at the end of the year? Who do you think is the most likely to become the champion that is unranked? And whose picks do you agree with the most? Because in a year's time, we're going to be sat back here comparing our lists, and maybe we do some sort of forfeit for the loser.
Oh,
Maybe.
maybe.
Just throwing that out there. Or maybe the loser has to give something away to you guys that are subscribed and following us. So make sure you hit all them buttons. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all of that. Get at our YouTubes, Instagrams, and let us know if you want to come on the show. Right, boys.
Good.
Thanks for being on.
It's going
to be interesting to compare, but at the back end of the year.
Yeah.
And
see how it plays out.
Yeah, and we will sign this video off here. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Peace, boys.